Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Theory, where we talk about fan theories that are out there about popular films, new and old. This first started with Scream. When Scream 5 first came out, we had 3 theories about who could be possibly the killer in the new movie. And that's kind of evolved into a lot of things Scream post release of that video. But on this episode here, we're going to talk about the Halloween's ends. We're going to talk about, looking forward, we're going to talk about the Halloween. I'll just start from the top. All right, ready? Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Theory, where we talk about fan theories about films that are new and old. So far, it's only been horror, and it's only been Scream. And our first episode for this series dropped in January, where we talked about 3 potential killers that could be behind the ghost face mask in Scream 5. Were you right? No. Is one still a potential? Hell yes. Now, based on all the popularity from our Scream videos, we did several follow-ups to that original one. And now we're here to talk about Halloween Ends. And the ghost of Michael Myers that is stalking Laurie Strode. Hey, if this is the first video that you're back with us since we debuted the new set, then you've missed out on some special announcements. The first being August 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we see the reunion of the Scream, Girl in the Bathroom, and Cheerleader in the Bathroom.
Nancy Ann Ritter and Lenora Scelfo will be live with myself and Donna Jean on Donna Jean's Coffee House of Horror, and it is the season 2 finale?
Yes. And we are also launching the quest for 5,000 subscribers, and we need your help once again. But instead of giving away $100 when we hit the 1,000 mark, we're giving away tons and tons and tons of things. So you'll see a link to the video at the end of this video here. One may be popping up right around here. But the grand prize, when we hit 5,000, is straight from the UK. You cannot buy it here in the States. It is Strawberries and Scream, and we're going to have it signed.
And the cereal box actually screams.
Yes, it does, but I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want it to fall over.
Yeah, and it'll keep screaming.
That's a good title for the new movie. Keep Screaming. The sequel.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, instead of Scream 2, Part 2.
No, I just can't.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Halloween Ends.
Universal Pictures finally dropped the trailer for Halloween Ends. Many people are dissecting the film and are theorizing that we are not getting just one Michael Myers, but 2. I don't think there's 2 Michaels in this next one, but instead we're seeing the ghost of Michael haunting Laurie, who is dealing with PTSD from what happened 4 years earlier.
Now, in our news video that we dropped earlier this month with talks about Top Gun and some more Scream news, we originally had some Halloween information in there in regards to the trailer that was coming out. Fortunately, that video ran long, so we wanted to cut it short. But here are 2 pieces from that video that we did cut out that we'll talk about right now.
Speaking with Sci-Fi Wire, John Carpenter stated that, well, it's Halloween, and it ends, he answered with a little chuckle. You'll see it's a departure from the others. It's interesting. Dave is a really good director. I love working with him.
Now, earlier this year at the Steel City Con, Nick Castle, the original Shape from 1978, the man behind the mask, who has come back and done some scenes behind the mask in the latest trilogy, he had some words to say too.
I think there might be more because of all the success of this trilogy, but Green will have a very surprising storyline, an ending for everyone. It's absolutely something I don't think you would have ever guessed in terms of the way it's going to unroll.
Now, before we dive into why we're talking about the ghost of Michael Myers, What's your thoughts and theories on what's going to happen in Halloween Ends? Is there two Michael Myers? If you're saying, like, why the hell is there two Michael Myers? We're going to talk about that in a second. So, and then you can go back and watch the trailer in case you miss it on our video. We'll highlight those scenes where there are two.
Yeah.
And are you excited for this film? I know we have put up a poll, and about 80% of our subscribers are excited to see this come out. The other 20% is like, it's Halloween. It can't be too bad. The Halloween Kills was pretty bad.
Yeah, so it can be bad.
Now, with the release of the trailer, the one thing that Universal Studios did, other than dropping it about 12 hours earlier, the day before, is they gave away some plot details about Laurie Strode's last stand.
In the plot details, this is what we get. 4 years after the events of last year's Halloween Kills, Laurie is living with her granddaughter, Allison, and is finishing writing her memoir. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since. Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. But when a young man, Corey Cunningham, is accused of killing a boy he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all.
Now let's talk about that, right? Two key points there. It forces her to confront the evil that she can't control. Now, if we go back to Halloween 2018, Michael Myers is locked away. She can't control what's going on with him because he's behind concrete and steel. Mm-hmm. She's not getting to him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the hell banking that they weren't going to let him or let her in to see him.
No.
So now you have to think, right? The red herrings here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is if she can't control it, this leads me to start to believe that there's something supernatural or mental going on here to build on the story that we've seen in the 2018 movie.
And also, with it saying after allowing the specter of Michael, that's not like Michael in the physical form.
Yes. Also, the first line there too is that it's been driving her reality for decades. And as we saw in the 2018 film, she lives out.
Yeah, and she was just batshit, right? I mean, she had mannequins all over inside her house, and it was, it was booby trapped, and she was just ready for a fight that she was waiting 40 years for. I mean, you're definitely a bit crazy if, you've been waiting for this for 40 years.
And like in our pilot episode, we have some stuff to back that.
Yeah.
In the trailer, there are some reveals.
So the trailer opens to what appears to be an homage to the 78 film, where Michael creeps up the staircase and into his sister's bedroom to kill her. Only here, we see Laurie waiting with a gun. Most importantly, we see two key things.
Laurie is wearing clothes that she wore very similar to that night in 1978. Blue shirt. Hair's kind of done up the same way.
And the Michael that opens the door has all of his fingers on his left hand.
And it's not burnt.
No. And it almost looks like kind of a glove or something.
Gone back to watch it a couple times. It is a different hand than what we've seen in the other movies. Not because it's missing the fingers and it's burnt, but it just looks completely different. Almost even looks like a mannequin hand.
Yeah, because the fingers are slimmer. I mean, we know Michael's got big hands, right? He's not a small dude by any stretch of the imagination. So he's got big hands, big fingers, and this doesn't look like his hand at all.
No, and the mask. The mask looks a little different as well. Now, if we kind of think about this, right? In Halloween Kills, Laurie and Michael did not cross paths.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last memory that she has of Michael is the non-burnt mask. Mm-hmm. She may have picked up on that she shot him in the hand, may have not. So she is maybe picturing here the Michael Myers from 1978.
And I honestly think if you want to do a comparison with the mask, I almost feel like the real Michael Myers, his mask is like from Spirit Halloween. and the other mask is like a Dollar Tree knockoff. It doesn't look as good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's done purposely, but it definitely looks different.
The hair looks a little different.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Now, after the first glimpse of their fight scene, we see a quick clip of Laurie screaming at the top of her lungs what looks like to be at the top of a staircase. Mm-hmm. Now, this leads me to believe a couple of things here, right? One, this is the end of the movie. She's killed Michael. She's like, yeah, I did it. You know.
Like it's finally over.
Mm-hmm. She's all hulking out. The adrenaline's pushing out. Or this is her coming back to reality after having a vision of Michael. And she's screaming because nothing's really there.
Now, during the homage clips of Laurie versus Michael, we see a newer clip of Michael lifting Laurie up by the throat in the shadows in a hallway shrouded with curtains. This Michael appears to be the same one that we see opening the door because the silhouette of the mask itself is looking less beat up.
Yes. And now, in this clip here, you're seeing the burnt side of the mask, or what should be the burnt side of the mask. Yeah. Looked really closely at it. It didn't really look burnt. Again, it is in the shadows, but the kicker here is the curtains. It's a hallway of curtains on both sides of her. Mm-hmm. Almost Freddy Krueger-like, right?
Yeah, like
where
you're in a dream.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, why would there be like curtains on both sides of you? I mean, most hallways in general don't have windows.
Mm-hmm. And they're not just stagnant curtains. They're flowing in the breeze.
Yeah, which is, leads you to believe that it's like a dreamlike sequence.
Mm-hmm. Later on, we see Laurie wearing a slightly different outfit, waiting for Michael to walk through a doorway. Very much like what we saw in the 1978 film when she went across the street to see where her friends were at. Only this time, in this fight scene, or leading up to this fight scene, she's wearing a vest. And we have the current Michael Myers that we're all familiar with. Burnt mask.
Yeah, and it was clearly burned in this scene. And eventually they're fighting in the kitchen. And it's during one of the last shots of the trailer where you see Laurie stab Michael in the left hand, which is now missing fingers and is burned.
Yes. So it is not a continuity error.
No.
That we're seeing between the two different Michaels and the opening of the door. This was probably put in there deliberately. And since this is not the MCU, it's not put in there to throw you off where they're digitally putting in an eyeball for Thor, taking it out his eyeball, whatever they did for that one movie, or in the other films, like with Spider-Man. Yeah. When he lands, it's just him in the trailer. In the movie, it's all three of them.
Yeah.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Could this fight scene with her wearing the vest be in the beginning of the film? Where they fight really quick in the beginning, she kills him, and then the movie is about her trying to cope and deal with the fallout of everything that has happened.
Mm-hmm. Seeing Laurie's behaviors in the 2018 film, it would appear that she is suffering with complex PTSD. She has hyperarousal, which means being in a continual state of high alert. She believes that the world is a dangerous place. She shows a loss of trust in others. She struggles to regulate her emotions, and she's become preoccupied with her abuser. The 4-year gap could reveal that despite losing her daughter this time, she's turned her life around through therapy and medication, so she's living a normal life and writing about her past. Now, I'm not buying it.
Now, I'm sure it's possible in real life, but we're talking about somebody that almost became a nomad, secluded themselves with the fixation on, I'm coming to get Michael.
So, and here's the thing. We're now at Halloween Ends, which is 4 years, taking 4 years after Halloween Kills. And she's supposedly all roses and sunflowers, and she's writing a memoir, and she's happy with her granddaughter. But yet, from Halloween to Halloween Kills was 40 years. Mm-hmm. 40, not 4. And this woman couldn't cope with reality.
That's some damn good meds and some really good therapy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that she's all well and good. And especially considering that in the first Halloween, she lost some friends and a boy that she liked. But in Halloween Kills, she lost...
No. The boy that she liked did not die in the first movie. It was the second film, which is no longer a part of the series.
Yeah. So she lost some friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she lost all of her friends, a few, whatever. But honestly, they weren't very good friends anyway. They were not nice to her. They just used her, I think. And in this one, I mean, she lost her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Halloween Kills, and you're supposed to believe that, like, she recovered in 4 years when the original taking her friends away took 4 years and she still wasn't recovered.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't add up, people.
Now, in the trailer, there is one very key thing here that really makes it stand out that this is all in her head, or most of it is. Michael Myers, in one scene, he goes to stab something, and it looks like it shatters and floats into the screen. It's really quick.
That seems like it's some kind of a dream sequence.
Now, if any scenes was going to be cut out of this movie, I can see that one being cut out.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe is the red herring in the entire thing, where it's like, oh, okay, now everybody can go and try to figure it out. But nobody's really talking about that.
Mm-mm. No. Now, Corey, is he the key to the story or a giant red herring? Is he a copycat killer where he encountered Michael in the sewers and wants to continue his legacy? Thus, we get to Michael Myers. Or does him murdering a child trigger Laurie's complex PTSD and she begins suffering with visions of Michael?
Yeah, maybe she is. Maybe the story does pencil her in to be over everything that's happened, and she is on the medication. She's going to the therapist multiple times a week to feel better. And then the murder happens of the child, and then that just starts dredging everything up, and she starts to think that it's Michael, and maybe she starts seeing that it's Michael all over the place.
Or maybe Michael killed the kid that Corey was babysitting, and maybe Corey was just like dressed up as Michael Myers, right? Because it is Halloween. We know it's going to be Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
This is when it happens. So maybe he's dressed as Michael Myers and he gets blamed for killing this child. And it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
look. Is that him? I don't know.
Well, with that, I think like what we've seen in the Scream films and what we've seen in most of the Halloween films is nobody really ever dresses up like the serial killer that's haunting their town. So
I mean, that's not true, because in Scream they had a bunch of people running down the hallways in the school dressed as
I think that was the only time that was really ever done.
Okay, well, when else would it be done in a Halloween movie except for on Halloween, because it only ever takes place on Halloween.
True. Now, what are your thoughts?
And there were people dressed as Michael Myers in the original Halloween.
No, you're again thinking of the second one.
Okay, well, whatever. But I'm just saying, it still happens. And to me, the second one still exists.
Yeah. Well, she's just not related to him now. Remember, that was just.
I understand that, but I can't pretend
as
like,
my favorite
I didn't see that movie.
Character Dave said in Halloween 2018. He asked that question and squashed it.
Yes, I know.
What are your thoughts? Is he a ghost? Is it in her head? Is there two Michael Myers? Is Corey one of the Michael Myers? Is her granddaughter one of the Michael Myers? That's right, I'm putting that seed out there. Let's have a discussion on it. So leave it in the comments, and maybe we'll follow up this video with another one. Exploring some of your fan theories and going down that path as well.
Let us know what you think of our theories. Do you think they're shit? Do you think we might be right about some of it? Let us know.
This is what fan theory episodes are all about. Have fun. Let's write our own story, see how it's going to play out, what would be the best options for it.
Yeah.
Me, personally, I would like to see us explore the complex PTSD route. Now, while everybody's like, oh, well, that's shit, is real life, right? Mm-hmm. People are going to deal with stuff like that. And you have John Carpenter and you have Nick Castle saying that this is going to be different than anything that we've seen before. So that leads me to believe that we're going to explore that. And honestly, I thought that was probably the best part about Matrix Revolutions or Returns, wherever the hell it was that came out in December that we saw, but exploring it where it was a mental breakdown and it never really happened. So it'd be really cool and original to see in the horror movie, especially this franchise.
Definitely.
Anyway, don't forget, It is the quest for 5,000 subscribers, and we need 100 likes and 100 comments in each video for us to pick out somebody to send them a poster of their choosing.
And we have a ton.
Yes.
So
if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the news video where we're talking about and reveal all the stuff that we're giving away right now, and I'm sure we'll be able to add to that over time. And then help us give this little guy away that you ain't getting here in the United States. And you're not going to get it signed either.
No. And how quickly we get to our next big steps of subscribers.
Which is 2,000.
Which is 2,000, and then 5,000. Depends on how quickly we do it. There may be a couple more signatures on that box.
Yes.
So you help us and we help you.
Yes. And it's always cool to say that you are a part of building something that you didn't have to really invest in.
Mm-hmm.
Other than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Click like, enter a comment. Hey, I'm here. Thought your video was crap. Thought it was good. And I'm sharing it.
Please don't say it was crap. Be nice. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Yes. And until the next. See ya.